Hello, America. Thankfully, we're at the weekend. It is October 3rd, 2025, and these are the four things you need to know before you get home. The American military has destroyed another vessel off the coast of Venezuela. The American military and the White House saying that this vessel was hauling lots of drugs headed towards the United States, and they have destroyed it with a missile attack. The Venezuelans are protesting. The Democrats are upset. And many people, yet again, screaming due process and not trusting administration claims that this was actually a drug vessel. I'm intent to believe the administration on this, and they're calling it a narco-terrorist operation and using the president's powers to combat terrorism in defense of the American homeland in order to justify the bombing. I'm okay with it. The president is also withholding $2.1 billion from Chicago and is considering withholding money from Portland, Oregon as well. The president and the administration announcing during the shutdown that the funding for Chicago goes away, in large part because the criminal element in Chicago as well, sanctuary city status, and their unwillingness to cooperate with federal immigration authorities, the Trump administration taking advantage of the federal shutdown to be able to do this. Now, I need you to think about this a little bit logically. Police around the country are encouraged when someone is arrested who's an illegal alien to notify Homeland Security. In Chicago, they're prohibited from doing that. And in fact, the city is spending resources to actually protect the criminal element who are illegal aliens in Chicago. The president's had enough of it. Same with Portland and the protection that local authorities are doing towards Antifa and the progressive activists. Local law enforcement is actually becoming more public now that attention has turned to Portland, saying that, in fact, local leaders are prohibiting the police from engaging against the anti-fascist movement there and the other vandals who are terrorizing the city and trying to deface and harass federal employees in their buildings. The police have had enough, and they're starting to speak out, and they're glad the president is taking the issue seriously. Up next, the president has set a Sunday deadline for Hamas. Hamas has got to decide, are they going to take his deal by Sunday or prepare to be destroyed? I'm not optimistic about the fate of the remaining hostages. Hamas has kept the bodies of a number of the dead Israelis they kidnapped, and there are some who are still alive. They need to be in your prayers, and I'm not optimistic about their future. Hamas is being very quiet. The president has offered them the opportunity to disarm, have amnesty, and leave the country for somewhere else, possibly Qatar or Iran. The Hamas leadership, much of which has been decapitated, so we're with like the D League now, not even the B and the C team. They have yet to make an answer. They said they're taking it very seriously. They're having moments of deep deliberation, and they will arrive at their conclusion shortly. The president says Sunday or be destroyed, and he's perfectly happy to allow Benjamin Netanyahu to destroy Hamas. Polling in Israel, by the way, shows that the president's plan has about 70% support. Ironically, it's the governing coalition that is less enthusiastic about the plan than the Israeli people as a whole and the opposition in Israel. The opposition in Israel favors the plan by about 75%. Benjamin Netanyahu's coalition favors it by about 60%. But still, majority support in Israel for the president's plan. Lastly, Speaker Mike Johnson is saying he's considering keeping the House of Representatives on recess until the government reopens. He argues there's no reason for the Republicans and the Democrats to come back to the House. They have no business before them until the government reopens, and it's on the Senate Democrats and Chuck Schumer to agree to open the government. Republican Senate Leader John Thune saying he expects the Democrats are going to have to reopen the government, and the Republican position remains there will be no negotiations with the Democrats until the government is reopened, because that's been the Democrats' working policy every time the Republicans have shut down the government. The one wild card for the Republicans is President Trump himself. He sometimes likes to negotiate behind the scenes, and he does have a working relationship with Chuck Schumer, even as Chuck Schumer pretends they don't. He could cut a deal on health care with Chuck Schumer, and it involved reopening the government and then giving the Democrats something they want and have a win. We'll see. The Senate Republicans are a little less ambivalent about that, but privately, some Republicans are concerned that the health care issue is not a winning issue for them, even with ties to illegal immigrants, and so they do want to find some way to fund some health care. However, if you treat the proposal honestly, that it's a continuation of temporary COVID benefits that the Democrats want, most voters actually say, yeah, it's time for that to expire. Republicans on Capitol Hill have some reason not seized on the fact that it's temporary health care benefits from COVID that the Democrats want to continue. They put the spotlight on the illegal immigrant issue. That's been useful. However, it's a more expansive issue than just illegal immigrants. These are the 4 things you need to know this afternoon. You guys have a great weekend. Remember, going to church on Sunday is a decision you make on Saturday. I hope you make that decision. I'm Erick Erickson. Please stay informed, stay engaged, and please keep the faith.